TST After Dark, night one here in 2025 in the city of Cary, North Carolina, outside of Raleigh, with a clash in Group H to wind things down. It's Saturday's football. A surprise runner to the quarterfinals last season, La Mexicana Express, here in Group H tonight on Field 2. And we welcome you. Hi, everyone. I'm Neil Sika, here to have some fun. Well, this game is very urgent right off the bat. Both teams lost 3-1 in the afternoon session, and they need a win tonight to keep their hopes alive of maybe a wild card third-place spot into the knockout rounds. But they are resilient. They've got teams that have come back from last season and had some moderate success. Both made it out of the group stage. Let's take a look at the rules here for TST. If you're unfamiliar, we play 7-on-7. If you've been watching throughout the day, well, you know there's 20-minute halves. No offsides or throw-ins. Play from the sideline begins with an indirect free kick. And then the bell of the ball. Every match ends with target, score, time. We're underway here from Field 2. It's La Mexicana Express in green. And Saturdays, or affectionately known sometimes as Soccer Central Saturdays, in the burgundy. Both teams lost 3-1 earlier in the day. Bumpy Pitch, which was newly renamed, beat Saturdays, and La Mexicana Express lost to Sneaky Fox, who's been a sneaky contender each of its first two TST tournaments. So the last game of the day in the group stages, both teams have played two. In fact, the field of 48 has played two. The women's competition starts tomorrow, and men's group play will conclude before the knockout rounds begin on Friday. Weather expected in the forecast. Frank Aguilar, he's the goalkeeper on the ball right now for Saturdays. Versatility, you've got to be able to move from that position in the midfield. Trailing much of that game 1-0 and an early shot on Saturdays, that is, before a set piece turned the game around in their loss to Bumpy Pitch. That shot was straight on to Hector Lomelli. There are 4 players that return from La Mexicana Express. And a slip on the byline with that ball in. La Mexicana Express went out to Pasha Luxury in the first round of the tournament last year in the knockouts. Build out of the back. Saturday's football, largest soccer apparel store in the greater Los Angeles area. A lot of their players live between Los Angeles and Orange County, playing in the NISA, National Independent Soccer Association. Many of them played for the LA Force. They had longstanding MLS vet Sean Franklin on the team last year, but that brought in some new personnel and recalibrated. Many of these rosters trying to get better year in and year out. Year 3 of the competition. This is Aguilar. He played at Cal State collegiately. He's an added dimension in the attack, they feel, with his movement. You already see we're only 3 minutes into the game, and he'll creep forward, but it's given away. And then a quick recovery. La Mexicana will play to the touchline. Unlimited substitutions, usually 3 in a wholesale change for both teams. That's kind of been the pattern. You go about a 2 or 3 minute shift. Jonathan Lima from Brazil. It's always been an interesting story if you've followed the path of some of these small-sided teams that have joined the competition. With a volley coming in, an attempt right there. Good defending in the last piece of action from Lima. Sergio Pinal from San Jose, California. The big man getting inside, but his shot was blocked. So La Mexicana Express started as a taxi service in and out the greater New York City area. In 1987, they just re-upped. In fact, their head coach, Oscar Macareno, runs the company. He just re-upped a new 10-year deal. So that's great news for him, and more importantly, with the wages to go out and find good players to bring them along for his traveling soccer club, La Mexicana Express. They were in the group last year with La Bombonera. La Bombonera was the team that eliminated Saturdays. There's Pinal loading up a shot, a rebound, and then another great save at the far stick. It's jammed out of there. Hector Lomelli, a busy goalkeeper, the 31-year-old. Saturdays go quickly, off the deflection. Now La Mexicana. Cyrus Harmon carries the play along. Bumpy pitch and sneaky Fox 97. The two teams victorious so far in Group H. And they are playing concurrently right now. 4 teams have already made the knockout rounds. Conquefa looks the part in year 2 under Pat McAfee. They've had 2 big victories. Chad Porch with the Golden Fleece, the Adidas Golden Fleece. That's led too far by Aguilar. Michael Ordonez, 18 in green. He had the goal for La Mexicana in their loss to Sneaky Fox. Adrian Canto playing to Lomelli in the back. Lomelli played in Guatemala with the famed club Municipal, one of the bigger clubs down there. Also had time in the Mexican 2nd division with Atlante. Ball drifts to the outside. A whistle and a foul. I was alluding to a little bit of the teams that have already made the knockout round. Wrexham is also on the move. An impressive start for the Dragons, who always bring quite a following here to TST. Largest soccer festival, this Coachella of soccer, if you will, where 40,000 people attended last season. Great crowds here on day 1, great weather. Lomelli gives it a rip, and it pinballed off of Aguilar's fist, right off of a La Mexicana player. The goalkeeper showing early on they've got the penchant to let it rip. And Lomelli launched in. He had an assist last year in the 4 games he played, 3 of those being starts. On the move, Ahmed, one of those LA Force players in the right back role. He's on the ball right now for Saturdays. That shot with Lomelli thrown into action on the other end, spearing it away with the paw. Justin Jovel, the Ontario, California native, played at Cal State Fullerton, and a titanic shot. Defended well by Lomelli. Now they defend the corner. Hedged out of there by Brian Moya Sanchez. They go again, and the run at the back post is just nicked off the outside of the stick. Right intentions off the restart. Diego Reveca did his college soccer up in Saskatchewan, Canada. Hit the outside of the post. Was running out of room. The other 2 that advanced in the to the knockout rounds in Group A, Liga Foot 7 and La Bombonera, have been scintillating with 2 wins in 2 games. La Bombonera, the defending champs. Here's Lomelli. He'll measure it again. You just flash that into a host of bodies, and that's what you hope for, a deflection. So many goals, technical awareness, you're essentially waiting for a mistake to happen. Back with it. Saturdays. Sometimes they'll mix up that nomenclature and go with Soccer Central Saturdays. And they struggled. They were right on the cusp line last year in 2024 of getting out of their group, but they ended up being one of the wild card spots, third place teams. And then they made the most of it with a couple of big upsets, including the locals Raleigh Rebels in the round of 16. Aguilar, got Daniel Barrera. Kyle O'Brien returns from this team last year for Saturdays. Brian Medina. Those are influential players. They can be match winners for Saturdays. Inside to the volley. There was a look from Barrera. Former U.S. Youth International right there. U17, U18 product. Played in the second to third divisions in the U.S. Atlanta Silverbacks and Hartford Athletic. Build up from La Mexicana. And that shot by Garrett Bloom. Right back into possession. Fuertes. Miguel Fuertes. El Pantera they call him. Number 7 in green. Driving inside, but that shot uncorked wildly. You have to respect, both teams know they're in a position they need victory. Mexicana Express felt they had a quicker team from last year. The goal scoring regimen, though, that's the question. Can they do it consistently? And with both teams right up against it, desperation can make for some pretty good soccer. And what could be an elimination game in match 2. This is Group H. El Pantera, Miguel Fuertes, Querétaro, a little bit of time with their youth academy in Mexico. Now it's Lomeli. Pick a pass through the middle, but it's been clogged pretty well. Inside to out, but with the field dimension 65-45, it's not very conducive at times for wide 1v1 play and then attacking the penalty area. You can work from inside out to back in. Kind of like this with Fuertes. He's carried it along. Yusef Almandi. He's a veteran returnee for La Mexicana Express, wearing 13 in green on the ball right now. Little 1-2 action, but his play inside is cleared. Lomeli. There's Jonathan Lima. From Brazil, but small school. He played at Monroe University in the Bronx. A lot of opportunities for these players to come stateside, and they play in small college environments. That was hit right square at Lomeli. A face-high stab. For the second time, Sergio Pinal wreaking havoc in the penalty area. They snuffed out his volley earlier in the game. This one he loads up, and that's been the busiest guy on the field right now in Lomeli. And header is right down at Lomeli. And he looks long. Can't be offside. And to also time your run if it's possession in your own half of the field where you can't enter the penalty area until that ball is played. There's a launch with a little ambitious try. Too much in the end for Aiden Bowers. Pardon, that's Walter Diaz. That fancy font on the numbers. Walter Diaz played for the Empire Strikers in MASL. There are 117 players in this competition who have played in the Major Arena Soccer League. That's a record. And maybe a lot of the clubs feeling it could be some secret sauce with some of these small-sided players. I think they're ruling here that Lomeli was on the ball for 8 seconds. There's a new rule in place. You have to have a progressive pass before 8 seconds, or it turns into an indirect free kick for the other team. They don't want the stalling tactics. And Lomeli, that's a good example of it, right on the ball at midfield. And our referee here tonight, well, you get a look at Oscar Macareno. Always has that stoic look about him. A man who has done well in the business world and now bringing to life this small-sided group from outside of New York City. Those he often employs are the players that can shine on the field. Mo Kalia is our referee tonight, in charge, the arbiter. Got 5 minutes till halftime here. Last game of the night, game 2 in Group H. Both teams need to avoid defeat. Give themselves a shot on the final day tomorrow. Button hooking into an opportunity there, and then it's closed off. Miguel Guerrero was in a right spot. Redwood City, California man. All 5-4 of them popped up in a good space, but good defending by La Mexicana Express. Ball lacked a little bit of weight to the outside. So the buildup goes again. There's a shot that goes and is uncorked right off of the post. Did that catch part of the post? Pedro Ciccarelli unleashing. Now a run toward the byline. It did indeed hit that far stick off a hop. So Ciccarelli scratches some paint on the corner. It goes right off the back, and then Aguilar comes over to smack it away. Two corresponding corner kicks. Now a pickup with a new keeper in there for Saturdays. Jose Montez Chila, they call him. Jorge Campos scouted him, the legendary Mexican goalkeeper. He had a sniff with Leon and also with Orange County. Chila brings it along. Nothing open in the middle. Ciccarelli, good defending, leads the way for the opening goal. Randy Martinez. La Mexicana Express makes the most of the turnover, and they turn it in to a 1-0 lead.
La Mexicana Express.
Ciccarelli was close moments ago when he hit the post. His pressure just forced a bad back pass. That is tailor-made. The mistake you often dream of and are sitting on if you're a TST player. Gift wrap for Martinez with the cool finish. And a really good rookie season with the Empire Strikers playing in the MASL. He had 13 goal contributions, 7 goals in that first season. You'll remember that one. It's a big one for La Mexicana Express. And a 1-0 lead. Lomeli's going to stamp it down. Lomeli bypasses Kashinko, the center back there with him. Back to the far side. Moya Sanchez, Lomeli. Extension of the pressure here from Saturdays. It's a good layoff. And it's lobbed up on a heave at the end from Yusofi Elmandi. The build up here across the grain. Barrera calmly holds, puts Saturdays back in position. Looking for an answer before halftime. Minute remaining in the opening 20. Very limited stoppage time, especially in the first half of these games. Usually just a minute or so in the second halves. That's a little bit of a scrappy Fuertes effort, who almost jostled it loose on Miguel Guerrero. Guerrero, that's a good through ball, but it's well anticipated inside. Moya Sanchez, kept by Saturdays. Pep across and a dance to the outside. Lomeli made the save, but then coughed it up and right on the welcome mat, the tying goal. Julio Varela answers the bell for Saturday's football. Scoring here late on a Wednesday night. Lomeli, acrobatic reach, but remember, players can be in an offside position, and no one was covering that back post for La Mexicana Express, so they surrender the tying goal. One was given away in their own half. And Varela with the answer to send us to halftime, 1-1, with both teams a lot at stake. Survival, the name of the game here in Group H, here in Game 2 of Day 1 of TST 2025. The goal smashed home in transition from Martinez. And then the answer from Varela. 1-1 at the break. Back to Carey after this. Back here in Cary, North Carolina, wrapping up the second game of group stage play on day one of the third edition of the soccer tournament. What an atmosphere all day long, just skipping around to the different fields. There's 7 of them, seeing all the action. 1-1 here in a big game in Group H, La Mexicana Express and Saturday's football. Well, Lomeli was a busy keeper, peppered where he made 5 saves in that first half. There were 12 shots by Saturdays when it was all said and done, but they were the team that was trailing after this giveaway on the back pass and the cool finish by Randy Martinez. But moments later, right before halftime, Lomeli, despite his best efforts, cobbled the save, tailor-made for Julio Varela. 1-1 heading into the next 20 minutes. There are your numbers mentioning those 12 shots. The 6 shots on goal, the 5 saves. Neil Sika with you, taking you to the finish line of day 1. You're on field 2. Men's group stage play wraps up tomorrow. Well, the 16-team women's competition, the United States women, the defending champs, get underway. The ball was touched with an arm. The toss forward. Chila still the goalkeeper for Saturdays. Auspicious looking free kick. Lomeli's been sensational, the goalkeeper for La Mexicana Express, but a big moment here early in the second half. Game has to end with a winning goal. Target score time. Off that feint over the ball, and then the shot was blocked by the 2-man wall of La Mexicana Express. They had about 6 holdovers from last season's team. There's the goal scorer, Martinez. Boy, he is cagey with his press. Ran into a good spot to lead the way for the first goal. Now he tracks back. Saturdays on the ball. Chila off to midfield. There's some pressure again. Martinez, that willing runner. Stabilizes Garrett Bloom. Up along for Luciano Ramirez. Former player with Tigres' U20 system. Chila, the outlet for Guerrero. Kick save made, and then a further one pumped in. A double save by Lomeli. Limber, loose, not letting a go-ahead goal go in. Straight on, right down I-40. Those shots repel off of the La Mexicana Express keeper. Guerrero again. He's a slippery one. Jamming that through a wall of green. It ends up being a corner. Brian Medina. He was a member of the RSL Academy. He was the leading goal scorer last year. Number 7 in Burgundy. Medina last season for Saturdays ended up with 3 goals. This is Guerrero defending. Fuertes. Pantera watching La Mexicana Express reload from the back. Lomeli. Time ticking away. You get to those points where you just don't want to make a mistake. Scan every part of the field. put yourself in a position right now, head to target score time. It's a next goal win situation. We got the 2 goals late within the final 4 minutes of the first half. That moves well. Moya Sanchez skirts along and just out of the range of Fuertes. The coaching brass was talking with Fuertes in his runs right off the back shoulder and how he can be more dangerous. That's a player they're looking for. Be influential, and Cyrus Harmon is also in that mix, number 17 in green. Des Moines Menace, former player. It's at the tip of that spear. Here's Chila. That pass snapped off by Bowers down the wing. They wanted to hit the sturdy target in Pinal. The call goes against Saturdays. Sharp darting run, but well defended. Sophie Elamandi, who was drafted by New York City in the MLS draft in 2022. Tangier, Morocco. He's going to reload on a corner here. Ended up playing with New York City too on 16 occasions. That was only 3 years ago. Cyrus Harmon on a forklift with that pass. One of the big Nick Kashinko from Staten Island in 15. That's what he wears. Carried on out of the muck by Guerrero. Saturdays going back to work offensively. There's 2 strategies normally to play it in your own defensive half. You go zone or you mark man. And right now, La Mexicana Express going mano y mano. One slip and you can be off to the races the other way. You always have to keep an eye out on your back shoulder for that run. Players can get in behind, no offsides. There's an aimless ball. Chila right down the boulevard, but it may work out in the end for Saturdays. Uncorked over the top. Here's Rebecca. Crashed in along that far stick. And the lead belongs to Saturdays. Bowers delivers the big blow off a leg. Lomeli can't believe it. It's 2-1. Saturdays looking to make this a game for the weekend right now. They have flipped it around from a 1-goal deficit. That's a beautiful redirection right in front of Lomeli. So Bowers with the goal. He was just creeping along at the top of the penalty area. So a 28th minute goal. Here's a shove and a fall over and a free kick for La Mexicana Express. Adrian Canto, the 30-year-olds, brings La Mexicana Express right back upfield. Puts them in a position where they can make some mischief. Just recently playing with Atletico La Paz, Liga Expansión down in Mexico. That was just 2 seasons ago. 34 games played there. Draws the critical foul. La Mexicana Express, well, they saw the answer from Saturdays after they had taken the lead. Aiden Bowers with the sustenance for Saturdays moments ago to give them a 2-1 advantage. Hammered into the wall. Hustling back to get it. La Mexicana Express goes again. That was a perfect example of that goal by Bowers. You turn off for a moment, your man runs in front, and boom, you're trailing. Kind of ghosted along in the middle. Yurko Cardenas goes quickly. Off the corner flag for La Mexicana Express. A flare for the dramatic. Garrett Bloom goes up. Bloom's an MASL player with the Empire Strikers. Chila. Saturdays, they've peppered the net. It's motion offense. They maneuver around the man v man of La Mexicana Express. Wide for Prado. One back by Bloom. Up the line, and across the grain. Clearance comes from Ahmed. Here's the La Mexicana Express goal scorer in Randy Martinez. Thunder rumble off that shot. Miguel Fuertes would like to have that back. It was a sonic boom off of our field mic. Saturdays gets on with it. About 8 minutes after halftime here, they've taken the advantage, 2-1. 10 minutes till target score time. You can see at the top right corner of your screen, Sneaky Fox, 97, giving the business right now in a 4-1 lead over Bumpy Pitch. That's the other matchup in Group H. Sneaky Fox could be looking at a spot in the knockout rounds with a victory. Swing to the middle. Lomeli to creep and collect. Now the level of urgency picks up. Cyrus Harmon connecting with Kushenko. Lomeli all the way up near midfield. In search of a numerical advantage here. And Lomeli's not gun shy. Works it to Harmon. Harmon with the deflection going back, and Chila was on the ready. And now the long throw going for goal, but Lomeli hustles back. We've seen some incredible goalkeeper work and length of the field action last season. It was Joshua Lemos who had that winner for Nani FC. Their elimination of Sneaky Fox. Round of 16, that was quite the spectacle. Nani FC played prior on the field just to the other side, and I know their money's worth against Drip to win it in target score time. This is great build from the middle. And Lomeli, despite his best efforts, can't keep out Pinal. Little punctuation for the Bay Area native. That's a massive goal for Saturdays to go up 3-1. But the football, the intricate passing on the interior, even better. It had La Mexicana Express scrambling. They were starting to commit a little bit more of those numbers forward. That's a good Wednesday night dance, don't you think, Pinal? Strutting his stuff. Played with Utica City in Major Arena Soccer League.
Southern Central Saturdays football goal scored under 24 Jose Montez de Oca. The goal scored in the 33rd minute.
So it is 3-1 right now, Saturdays. Mexicana Express looking for answers. to apologize because they had switched up the rosters prior to game time. Aguilar has been the one in goal. And you get that goal from Chila, who still under the direction was scouted by Jorge Campos. And he has the third goal for Saturdays. A 2-goal lead heading to target score time. Aguilar leads the path upfield. Same score line to which each team lost in the opening game. There's Lomeli. Chila comes back on the field. Jose Montes de Oca. The third goal for Saturdays. Chicarelli. It's a driving run to the middle. Down goes Brian Martinez. It's a good hard run by Martinez to the middle. Chila squashing him. So a free kick here for La Mexicana Express with 4 minutes left in regulation. Aguilar, part of the calmness to which Saturdays is played with in the back. Haven't allowed a ton of shots, especially toward this end of the field. And that will lift off and go wide. Now it's forward for Medina. Brian Medina going wide. Chila. He'll cram the attack. What a shot there by Fuertes, and he had the runner, maybe thinking that he'd put a little bit of more loft on it. Junior Sandoval was the one coming open for La Mexicana Express. And sense a little frustration here. Fell asleep on the second goal, and then the great passing through the middle, which started in the back with Aguilar. Finished by Chila for that third goal. There's a steal in the middle. Opportunity on here, and Aguilar is out to make a huge tackle. Breaks up the play with Adrian Canto coming along. Now it's one back in Martinez. Aguilar saves. Things getting spicy toward the finish line with 2 minutes remaining in regulation. La Mexicana Express throwing caution to the wind here. Want to shave the deficit before target score time. Right now that would sit at 4. Jonatas Gonçalves is in for La Mexicana Express. O'Malley. O'Malley lets it rip right at Aguilar. Smaller cage where he's supplanted inside. Villon. Hit the last minute of the 40. Game 2 in Group H. There's the spin off the wing, Villon. Villon was more of a coach, a player coach this year, playing a little bit more on the field. 35-year-old, wearing 11 in burgundy. Prado, field for Saturdays. Here's Cyrus Harmon. Out to the middle. Now a collision. Prado and Canto meets. Last push for La Mexicana Express. Otherwise, they'll need 3 in target score time. Pass misses the mark to Harmon, and that's where we stand, heading to the best part of this tournament. Target score time stands at 4. And Saturday's football got 2 in that second half. And we'll take a 2-goal lead into this 77 situation. Sheila, that cheeky finish, made it 3-1. We'll come back. Target score time is next. Back here in Cary, final game of the night. Game 2 in Group H, and La Mexicana Express. Well, they may be in the fast lane to exiting the tournament if they don't turn it around. They need 3. Target score time is 4. And the first team to hit that number will be victorious. Player comes off every 3 minutes. O'Malley, despite his best efforts, has not been able to keep Saturdays from scoring twice in this second half. 17 shots for Soccer Central Saturdays, 13 for La Mexicana Express. Sheila with some instruction. Things were getting a little intense at the final whistle. Frank Aguilar, the goalkeeper for Saturdays, was in a stern conversation with Mocalia, our referee. Martinez has the goal for La Mexicana Express. They could not really break the dam, and Aguilar's been hanging tough all game long, that defensive Saturdays. So we play to 4. La Mexicana Express needs 3. Saturdays needs just the 1 to get to 1-1 here in Group H. Sneaky Fox, nothing sneaky about their performances. They're in target score time, leading Bumpy Pitch 4-2. Some of the late action wrapping up tonight, including the 2023 champs, Newtown Pride, with a slim lead. So Aguilar, every 3 minutes, we don't have a goal scored, a player comes off. Pop pass in the middle for Medina. Didn't start the game tonight. He's come off the bench and made a big impact. to watch his runs. You've also got Guerrero flying in there. There's Aguilar. And that lead is a good one. Guerrero. Pocket of space for the moment. Now retorts it to Salguero. The most important part of this is just ball possession. Don't give it up cheaply. Regardless of the team, Mexicana Express trying to exploit with some pressure. Take a miscue. Aguilar, very confident possession. Swerve it upfield, a brief look from Medina. Now Medina has it back. Brian Medina, what a move, Medina! Saturdays secures all three.
Saturdays football. The match winner in target score time. Your final. Soccer Central Saturdays football.
The center of attention on this Wednesday night clash. And a massive win in Group H to capture their first win of the competition, rebounding from a 3-1 loss earlier in the day. So they controlled a lot of the play and then let it slip away. And their bell cow, Medina, a little bit of magic. What a step over. And then slides it through the 5-hole of Lomeli. So the former RSL Academy product rise and shine to the next morning. He's got the golden fleece presented by Adidas. Saturdays football, that's lifetime entry now into TST and to TBT. Medina, the leading scorer on this Saturdays team from last year with 3 goals. He's got the game winner in target score time, and Saturdays football, a 4-1 victory at La Mexicana Express. An uphill climb with their final game coming up in the group stage tomorrow. 4 unanswered goals from Saturdays. 2 in the second half, Medina the winner. Prets and sights, let our great crew. I'm Neil Sika. We thank you for watching Day 1 from TST. Good night.